Hello friends, it's Dave here from SaveDex. Now those of you that follow our channel might have noticed we are big fans of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We do play it online with you guys most weekends after all, and if you are new to the channel, then you are most welcome to join us on future streams by the way. Make sure you're subscribed to not miss them. But the exciting news about this game is that 48 tracks from Mario Kart's past are being added to this game, with the first wave of 8 arriving very soon. But let's take a look at those 48 tracks already in the game, and we've been playing a lot since even before the Switch even launched. We have taken a look at each track and decided to rank them from our least favourite to most favourite. But before we do that, let's go over a few rules because fun lists, they need strict rules. Firstly, this ranking is only our opinion. Yours may very well differ from what we have here, so please be respectful and let me know in the comments down below which tracks are your favourites. We don't hate any of these tracks, it's a really good selection overall. Secondly, ranking 48 tracks in order is a challenge, with a lot to take in, such as course design, the aesthetics, the music, the hazards, but the ultimate deciding factor to rank these was when playing online and it gives you 3 courses to choose between. We've put these tracks in order from which ones we would vote for over the others. And thirdly, this is all before the booster course packs are released. I will update this list as the new courses come out and have spent enough time on them, so keep an eye out for those. So let's take a look at all 48 base game tracks from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe from our least favourite to most favourite. Number 48, Bone Dry Ruins. This is a track we just don't ever vote for. It's not a bad course in its design, with some fun drifting opportunities and an anti-gravity section that's sort of hidden but easy to find, but it's not too interesting to look at with its murky colours and just doesn't feel like a nice place to be. This track could do with a spot of rain. 47, 3DS KOOPA City, or Neo Bowser City, but all the rain is featured in this track. KOOPA City is what it's called here in the UK, even though the Neo Bowser City signs are all over the place. This offers an interesting location, and the twisted nature of the track takes a lot of practice to get through consistently, but even though I can get the hang of drifting in other similarly designed courses, I usually find myself banging into the walls or falling off here. Makes me grumble. 46, Wii GRUMBLE VOLCANO. Speaking of grumbling, this was probably my least favourite track in Mario Kart Wii, and it's not my favourite here either. Taking place in a volcano that crumbles and has bits of the track disappear between laps. It certainly keeps you on your toes, and I do prefer this to the Wii version, but I just could never get on board with this track. 45, Rainbow Road. This might be a controversial placing, but I have never enjoyed this Rainbow Road. I like the idea of a track being on a space station, but I don't have a good time racing on it. My brother once pointed out that this track gives you more mushrooms than any other, when they are more of a hindrance here. I don't know if that's true, but I can't help but notice it. Number 44, Bowser's Castle. Bowser's Castle is usually a highlight, but this isn't my favourite of those. It just isn't really that interesting to me, and I can't really put my finger on why. I just never vote for this one. The giant Bowser statue punching the tracks is a cool idea though. Number 43, Electrodrome. This has an awesome aesthetic to it, but one problem I have with it is that most of the track is split into 2, so you choose a path near the beginning and drive along with only half the races on average, which makes me feel a bit separated and removes some of the hectic nature, just kind of makes this one feel a bit mundane. Number 42, GCN Dry Desert. This was my least favourite in Double Dash, and while this version is an improvement over that, the desert setting isn't the most interesting to me, unless there's a train of course. I do like that they added a water section though. Number 41, SNES Donut Plains 3. From this point on I am going to be mostly positive about the tracks. This one feels like a nice modern recreation of a SNES track, with Monty Moles, broken bridges with water to drive through, and some nice opportunities to drift boost. Number 40, Ice Ice Outpost. This was one of the DLC tracks in the Wii U release, and it wasn't the most interesting of them, but not a bad one to play on. It suffers from being one of the split path tracks that plagued Electrodrome, but at least this one lets you switch between them at times. Number 39, Sweet Sweet Canyon, or the Wreck-It Ralph track as I call it. I really love the look and feel of this one, and it's a fun one to race on. It sadly has another split path, but thankfully it doesn't last too long. The gingerbread toad is a delight too. It also features a cannon to blast through and a donut to cut through towards the end. I may not like desert tracks, but I do like dessert tracks. Number 38, Wild Woods. driving up and down a tree, with tree houses and wooden walkways. It just looks like a super fun place to be. Number 37, Super Bell Subway, taking place in the underground with trains to avoid. The trains keep things interesting as you need to dodge them, but they aren't too difficult to avoid so that it becomes annoying. I also like how there are signs indicating the destinations being other tracks in the game. Number 36, Mario Kart Stadium. The opening course of a Mario Kart game can sometimes be basic and a little dull, but this is a more interesting example of one. This has nice wide roads that allows you to get to grips with drifting, and it introduces the anti-gravity and gliding all in one short track, introducing the mechanics to you without being overwhelming. It's a nice introductory track for sure. Number 35, GBA Mario Circuit. This is similar in design to Mario Kart Circuit, but I prefer it ever so slightly, taking the GBA design and remaking it into a modern track with an anti-gravity ramp area that raises up in the intro, making it feel like the characters have revisited this old area and made adjustments to it. Number 34, Mario Circuit. Yeah, I decided to group these three Mario named tracks together. This one has a clever figure 8 layout that twists around so you drive over and under the entire track. But it doesn't feel too gimmicky and it plays like a standard racetrack overall. Number 33, Wii Wario's Gold Mine. There are 3 Wario themed tracks in this game. That is awesome. Wario's Gold Mine is a roller coaster ride along a minecart track. On the Wii version you need to dodge the minecarts, but now it's anti-gravity, they give you a helpful boost, which makes this track a lot more fun than before. Number 32, GBA Cheeseland. Another GBA recreation that really transforms it into something magical. There are a few cheeky shortcuts to find here, and it's a lot of fun drifting around it. The only reason we didn't rate it higher is because Sophie is lactose intolerant, so Nintendo were not thinking of her when they brought this back. Number 31, GCN Sherbert Land. The Skating Shy Guys do it for us here. It may not have been one of the better Double Dash tracks, but the inclusion of the underwater sections have made it a touch more interesting overall. Number 30, CLOUDTOP Cruise. A sky-themed stage where you travel along a vine, an airship, and then a treacherous path with lightning attacking the boost pads, then a glide back to the start. The music here is based on Mario Galaxy, and it got me thinking, why is there no dedicated Mario Galaxy themed track? Given the anti-gravity gimmick, we thought that would be a shoo-in. But this is the best we could get, I suppose, and it is a great one. Number 29, Dragon Driftway, another of the original's DLC tracks, and it really takes advantage of the anti-gravity mechanic by having a very interesting aesthetic. You drive inside a dragon's mouth, then the race travels along its body and down the tail, and it's a twisty body at that, a clever idea done right. Number 28, DS Tick-Tock Clock. Based on the Mario 64 level and taken from the DS game, it's nice when a track or level runs with a theme. This case, it's clocks, with pendulums swinging around, clock hands to trick off, and cogs that can help or hinder you depending on the direction they go in. This track certainly is a good time. Number 27, Twisted Mansion. Forget Luigi's Mansion, although I do hope that one comes back. Here is Boo's Mansion. From the doors opening ominously to let you in, you are greeted with a mansion that has crazy goings-on, including wavy carpets on the wall, statues that try to squash you, and Boo seems to have a flooding problem. Typical, Boo calls for a plumber to sort all this out, and all he does is invite his friends to have a kart race. Number 26, 3DS Melody Motorway, or Music Park. Music Park is a better name for this. Melody Motorway is more difficult to remember, but it's still a fun track. Like I said with Tick-Tock Clock, they took a theme, in this case music, and went to town with it. Drifting over the xylophones and piano keys and have them make music as you do so is a really nice touch, as well as bouncing off the drums being very satisfying. Number 25, DS CHEEP Beach. I may not enjoy the desert stages, but that doesn't mean I hate all sand. Beach levels are amazing, especially since we're allowed to drive in the water. This is a simpler track, but a nice one to drive along, plenty of opportunities to do tricks and an all-round pleasant beach trip. Number 24, DS Wario Stadium. Away from the calmer area to a more hectic one. This isn't the Wario Stadium I wanted to come back, but it's still an awesome one. The bumps lend themselves to get boosts from the tricks, as well as muddier areas that are so satisfying to drive through after hitting a boost pad. Number 23, 3DS Piranha Plant Pipeway, or Slide. I don't see why this needed a second name, but I do see why it needed a second appearance. This is based on level 1-2 from the original Super Mario Bros., starting by entering a pipe and zooming around the underground areas while avoiding piranha plants, then shoot out of the exit pipe to the castle area. Shame there's no warp zone. Number 22, 3DS DK Jungle. It is a crime that DK didn't get a themed track in this game, as his are always a lot of fun. but luckily his 3DS effort is included here based on Donkey Kong Country Returns. It feels like you're racing through a level from that game, a few tikis to dodge, a temple to drive through, and a few cheeky time saves, and all with that Donkey Kong Country music motivating you to keep going. Number 21, Mute City. Give us a new F-Zero, Nintendo. This is one of the few tracks that works in 200cc as it is designed for speed. It doesn't reach the speed of the Blue Falcon, but the boost pads do help give the illusion, and the strips that fill your energy up in F-Zero give you coins here. Nice touch. Give us a new F-Zero, Nintendo. Number 20, N64 Toad's Turnpike. A Mario Kart 64 track that got the remake treatment and it became a more enjoyable experience. The vehicles are much more spread out and you can even drive off the roofs of some of them as well as anti-gravity sections along the wall. It's a shame mirror mode doesn't make the traffic come towards you, but I bet a lot of people are grateful for that. Number 19, Wii MOO MOO Meadows. Another simpler track this one, but always a joy to race on. There are a few hazards such as Monty Moles and the Moo Moos themselves getting in your way, but it's overall a simple enjoyable track with a few moments you can cut out by boosting with a mushroom. It's an moo-zing time. Number 18, N64 Rainbow Road. This was my least favourite track in Mario Kart 64 due to it being very long and kind of boring. But here, not only did they reduce it to one lap so it doesn't drag on, they really overhauled it, making it much more interesting. With wavy sections to boost on, anti-gravity areas and chomps bouncing around. This could have still been 3 laps and it still would have been awesome. Hopefully they're taking notes on this when remaking older tracks for the DLC, because this is how you remake a track. Number 17, Dolphin Shoals. A water-based track with plenty of jumps to do and one section that makes it feel like you're flying. We always refer to this track as the Eel from World 3 because you get to drive on it at one point. And that's the main reason it's this high up on the list. Number 16, THWOMP Ruins. The THWOMPs don't get as much attention as they should, so I'm glad to see they got a track based on them, even though I've seen other tracks in the past feature them more prominently. Oh well. A pretty basic layout here, and there is a part that opens up later on in the race to cut through this middle section here. Number 15, Water Park. I'm not really sure why this one's so high up when it's such a basic one, but we just love this track. It just looks like a fun place to be, and it features one of the rare times you can easily get that triple drift boost that they added to this version. I wish this was a real place, especially because I want to visit Waluigi's seabed. Number 14, Shy Guy Falls, or Singing Shy Guys as we call it. Why? Because you can hear the Shy Guy singing. A race that takes place by a waterfall and you get to drive up and down it. This idea really does take advantage of the anti-gravity mechanics of the game and does it extremely well. Number 13, SNES Rainbow Road. This is an absolute classic track and an excellent version of it. It is amazing how this game has 3 rainbow roads and they all look distinct from each other. This one is completely flat except for a few tiny ramps, it has 90-degree turns that are fun to master and that very tempting gap to boost over towards the end. It's easy to fall off, but satisfying to master this one. It really is an adrenaline rush. Number 12, GBA Ribbon Road. Remember how impressed I was at the N64 Rainbow Road remake? Well, the same could be said for this one, although I'm not too familiar with the GBA tracks, so all I saw here was an awesome looking track set in the child's bedroom, and the races are all tiny. What an amazing idea. And it's a fun squiggly track too. And a few mushroomless shortcuts you can do, but I always end up getting distracted by all the stuff there is to see in the background. Number 11, Toad Harbour. This is a relatively simple track, but gives you several choices to take different routes without it feeling like the split tracks I don't gravitate to. The market stalls at the start allow you to bounce off the roofs, there's a wall you can drive along later, and those trams to avoid. And the super secret alleyway I always take, even though I'm pretty sure it's no quicker. It's just a pleasant drive overall. Number 10, Big Blue. A fantastic F-Zero themed track that's one long race without laps, and you go on a proper adventure with lots of jumps, twisty twists, and boosts for those high speeds. And my favourite F-Zero music to boot. Give us a new F-Zero, Nintendo. Number 9, N64 Yoshi Valley. The N64 Classic returns, with its many routes you can take. Despite me not liking the split path tracks, my nostalgia makes me love this one. Right, left, right is the quickest route I think, although I could be wrong. One path has a cannon for crying out loud. Falling off the side no longer takes 10 hours to be picked back up again, and the giant egg is an interesting obstacle, although quite easy to avoid. That narrow bridge at the end is a great place to leave bananas. I also like the detail that it's a wild Yoshi sanctuary too, but Yoshi does have a slightly better track than this. Number 8, GCN Yoshi Circuit. And here it is. This is an island shaped like a Yoshi, and given Yoshi's silhouette is quite bumpy when you think about it, there's a lot of twisty twists here as well, which really lets you get to grips with drifting, and it's so satisfying to get the hang of it here. Number 7, Hyrule Circuit. This is the Zelda theme track that got me excited for the initial DLC, and it does not disappoint. Taking place at the castle grounds and through the castle itself, it replaces Mario Kart assets with Zelda ones, even though they behave the same. The swoops are now keys, the piranha plants are Deku Babas, and the coins are rupees. I also love that they incorporated a puzzle into this track. Hit all 3 of these switches as you enter the castle, and a ramp opens up allowing you to boost through the Master Sword itself, and it even includes the Zelda chime. Number 6, EXCITEBIKE Arena. This track is a simple circuit with 2 long straights and a 180-degree bend at both ends. But what makes this interesting are all the ramps, boost pads and mud patches scattered all over the place, which are randomly generated, so it's a different experience each time. And there's nothing more satisfying than pulling off a load of stunts in a row. Number 5, N64 Royal Raceway. An iconic Mario Kart 64 track here, but they removed the main feature of it. You can't drive up to Peach's castle anymore. You would lose the race if you did, but it was still a nice touch. Luckily though, this track is still one of the best in its own right. Drifting around this track is a delight, the ramp over the water has become a gliding section making it easier to land correctly, and seeing the toads in the hot air balloon and swan-shaped pedal boats are adorable. Number 4, Sunshine Airport. Airports are usually pretty boring places to be, especially when racing around for your flight, but if you were able to race around in go-karts throwing bananas and shells at each other, then I think airports would be pretty exciting. You spend most of the race out with the aeroplanes, getting to drive through one at one point, finishing off with a gliding section where a plane takes off right over you. It's a fun time. This is one that could be expanded to include more areas inside the airport to race through at a later game, but for what it is, it's the 4th best track in this game. Number 3, Animal Crossing. This is like 4 tracks in one, as you get 4 variations: spring, summer, autumn and winter. The layout is the same each time, but there are a few subtle differences between them, such as piles of leaves and snowmen scattered around. You drive through the trees before gliding towards the beach and then go back to a town area, where Mr. Rossetti pops up to be annoying. This is just a fun track, with the Animal Crossing villagers at the side to cheer you on. What more could you want? Number 2, Mount Wario. The ultimate question, is Mount Wario a course or a command? The answer is, it's one of the best courses in Mario Kart 8. Starting at the top of the mountain, you make your way through a dam, then swerve your way through some trees, a slalom section, and then glide your way to victory. It's one of those single tracks split into 3 section races instead of having traditional laps, and they picked the perfect setting for that. Absolutely love this idea, and it was brilliantly executed. Track design can only go downhill from here. And number 1, GCN Baby Park. I'm not even sorry. Baby Park is probably my favourite Mario Kart track of all time. I've loved it since before I even played Double Dash and saw footage of it. A very small and simple track with 2 180-degree bends raced across 7 laps. This version of the track is all anti-gravity as well. The fact that you're always so close together makes this one manic with weapons all over the place and that fast and frantic music playing. This is just pure fun insanity that makes Mario Kart Mario Kart. The lack of the Bowser shell makes this slightly inferior to the Double Dash version, but this still makes our number 1 favourite track in this game. I'd love to see every track get a Baby Park version, just like the Smash stages have an Omega form, just for variety and locales. So that was how we rank all 48 tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. What do you think of these courses, and are you excited to see the next lot arrive? Like I said, I will be updating this list periodically, so make sure you are subscribed to see how I rank the extra tracks. Thank you so much for watching everyone, see you in the next one.